I have tried recording this video so many times. I recorded, edited, and uploaded a version of this video yesterday, but more information has come out. A couple of things I said had some, I didn't word them very well, to say the least, and more information has come out about a specific thing I talked about, and I didn't release that video because of, I don't even want to say I made the implications. It was just my observation of something I believed was weird with the context and the information I had at the time. So once I got more information and more context towards that, I just shut the video down. Okay? I just took it off of scheduling, so it didn't release. But, that being said, I do want to say Skete Parsons and his group of cronies, his bag of dicks with him, they shouldn't be at Bungie anymore. If you were laid off, if you were affected, I genuinely hope you're able to find work somewhere that will actually truly appreciate you for your talents and your ability, the things that you have created and will create. But yeah, I know it's tough right now, but I know you can do it, and I'm rooting for you. For those that weren't affected by this and are working at Bungie or anywhere in the games industry, and you're watching this, please listen to me. Or if you're going to be a game dev and you want to go that direction, please listen to me here. Talk to your coworkers. Look into forming a union. I'm going to try to look at some resources and put them in a pinned comment. If you know anything, comment it down below. We'll try to compile some stuff in the pinned comment, and we'll see where that goes. Because obviously right now, without unions in place, the games industry is not sustainable for game devs. So it's not sustainable for anyone in the games industry. My original plan wasn't to really read the article for you guys, but there's a couple of paragraphs that stuck out a lot to me that I really want to talk about. So I'll read those, and I'll give my thoughts as I'm reading them. So, quoting the article here, let's unpack how we ended up in this position. It's important to understand how we got here. Okay, that's the beginning of it. Just from that, I want to say, enthusiastically, poor strategic planning on the executive level and terrible bets and financial decisions that we could not cover with the money we had at all. Okay, now getting back into quoting and reading the article. All right, getting back into it. For over 5 years, it has been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. I just want to apologize for that recording real quick. If you heard my voice sound different than it normally does, okay? That's actually a glimpse behind the fucking curtain. The voice I normally talk with on my YouTube channel is not how I normally talk. I just really don't like my regional US dialect that I got, okay? I just don't like the way it sounds, so I talk like this instead. I'm gonna be honest. But that being said, let's unpack this paragraph right here. So this is absolutely the most blame that Pete and the executives will take for this entire problem that they have created. They said, oh no, we stretched our existing teams too thin. We wanted to make too many things. Which, yes, you did that. That was dumb. That was very dumb. Shouldn't have done that. Look at Riot Games, okay? They got League of Legends, ton of money, okay? I can almost guarantee you Destiny 2 is not making Riot money, and the franchise has never made Riot money, probably. But, you know, how long did it take for Riot to come out with Teamfight Tactics? Or, you know, Valorant. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, I'm not like a huge consumer of Riot games. I don't play them, any of them. But Teamfight Tactics is like a spin-off minigame sort of thing from League, right? And Valorant's its own thing, but it came out like 10 years plus from the launch of League of Legends. Look, I know Bungie, the company, is 30 years old at this point, but Marathon at this point, well, yeah, Marathon is abandonware. Myth, what's happening there? Oni, what's happening there? What the fuck you relying on? Gnop and Destiny? Because Halo, you're not making money on that anymore. Microsoft owns that. They have for a long time. So your moneymaker is Destiny. Destiny has existed for how long at that point? 5 years ago, 2019, Destiny would have been 5 years old. Bungie wanted to do more than Riot was doing on a smaller budget in half the time. And not even Riot has been able to do everything. Okay, they got Valorant and they got League. They have had to can and cancel so many projects because they ran out of money. And Bungie thought they could do it. What were you thinking? If you wanted more franchises, they didn't have to be developed in-house to start with. You could have reached out to small indie devs. There's tons of them out there. And I am sure they would love to give you the publishing rights to their game for a paycheck and a spot at Bungie to develop their game, their universe, their franchise further. I know it's not the same, but you guys wanted to be publishers and not just developers. How do you become a publisher? You publish. Right? Sorry, that makes sense to me, but I'm not the one with the multi-billion-dollar company that is failing. Alright, class. Let's get back to reading this article. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry, and our quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need to give both the final shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. So, remember when I said that this is probably the most blame Pete Parsons and the execs take in the whole article? I fucking meant that. They said, the broad economic slowdown. Alright, the broad economic slowdown was years ago. I'm gonna be real. Okay? The sharp downturn in the games industry, that one's new. I just want to get that out of the way. That was mostly because in 2020, a lot of people were stuck at home. So what are you going to do? You can't go to the club. You can't go out with your friends to restaurants. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy a new PC. You need games for that PC. What are you going to do? Oh, Destiny 2 is free. Let me try that. I kind of like this game. Let me spend some money on it. That's what he's talking about. And then people stopped doing that because new player experience in Destiny 2 is fucking ass. All right. And people are back physically at work and school now, okay? 2020 was a gaming bubble, and it burst. It was also a content bubble. Like, for content creation, it was a bubble. It burst. It's done, okay? We're not going to hit those numbers again.
But then he talks about the quality miss of Destiny 2 Lightfall, which, don't get me wrong, it was. That's the Lightfall's kind of bad. But God, you're just putting it on the devs. Like, bro, if I'm recollecting this correctly, the Bungie executives and upper management leadership were the ones that said devs could not work overtime and could not work on projects that would directly benefit players to make the new player and, veteran player experience more enjoyable to help retain players and attract new players. That is something they didn't want to do. They had to fight tooth and nail to get the final shape delay. I mean, the marathon delay also, but we never got a release date for that in the first place, so there's that. And also, I just want to say, with the quality miss of Lightfall, I'm sure they didn't want it to be the way it was. Because Lightfall, always and forever, was not always and forever, but it became the filler. Once the final shape was announced as the final expansion of the saga, Lightfall was just there. They didn't change the name of it to the final shape. They added the final shape and probably moved the story of Lightfall there. So it was a filler, just kind of off rip. But, going back to Lightfall and what I think a major source of trouble for that expansion was, if we look back 5 years ago, okay, we're in the Forsaken era, Destiny 2 Forsaken, it's what's currently going on for Destiny content. We have Shadowkeep coming up. Oh, no. Shadowkeep got delayed like almost a month. Oh, well, it's fine, Oh, Shadowkeep's out. Okay, we're having a decent time. It's definitely not as good as Forsaken. Shadowkeep was not my favorite expansion. It's fine. Season of Rivals happens. People are having a great time. Beyond Light gets delayed 2 months. Okay, well, we just got to hope they ship quality stuff, which overall I think Beyond Light is pretty good quality, except for Stasis and PvP. That shit was ridiculous. Then they come out and they say, hey, we are delaying Witch Queen from, I think it was initially going to be like a September release, which would have been weird with Seasons. But they delayed it all the way to February. That was a massive change to the schedule. That was a massive delay on the Witch Queen, okay? Then they come and, like, almost exactly a year after Witch Queen, they release Lightfall. I don't think it ever got a delay. If it did, it was like a week. That makes it unique among the independent Bungie expansions. It is the only one that never got delayed. And it's also the worst of the... I think Shadowkeep is worse than Lightfall. I've just got to say that. But, the two with the smallest or the non-existent delay are the worst ones. But, it seems like... I don't know what was going on. I'm not on the inside. But being that the devs had to delay that many expansions, and the ones that got delayed for more time were the better of those 5, the one that didn't get delayed at all probably should have gotten delayed. And, you wouldn't have had that quality miss. People would have enjoyed it better. They would have had a better time with Lightfall and probably stuck around longer. Moving past Lightfall bad haha discourse, let's talk about the executives. Things they did that certainly weren't the decisions of the people actually working on the floor at Bungie to make video games. The product that they sell. We had a venture into TV and film that went absolutely fucking nowhere, which... we haven't heard anything from Luke Smith. He's deleted, everything on Twitter, which happens from time to time for him, so it's not unusual, but we genuinely don't know if Luke Smith is still there. And if he's not there, was he moved to Sony as a head of the Destiny franchise for film and TV, because that's what he was going to do at Bungie there for a bit, was expand it to other medias, but it just never happened. That never happened. Apparently there was some stuff with Netflix that got canned. I'm assuming that got canned when the Sony deal went through, and they pivoted to working with Sony directly to get this stuff done, which we should have a ton of information on that, like, now. Like, that information should have happened a while ago. Like, you know, Sony bought you. Sony has a film studio. They obviously have a huge interest in making a Destiny film or TV adaptation. The Last of Us, massive critical success, and I'm pretty sure they made a ton of money off of it. So obviously there is money for Sony in, you know, TV and film adaptations of their IPs. So why have we heard absolutely nothing about a Destiny adaptation for the past 3 years? The ball should have started rolling. Then we have the buildings, you know. Did you know that Bungie built another studio in Bellevue, the city they're already in, 15 miles away from the current Bungie headquarters, and then they did nothing with that building? Because I genuinely forgot that happened, you know? They talked about it a little bit in the layoffs last time. Like, I heard some stuff about it, and just, I don't know, it just came off, whatever, didn't remember it. Got brought up again, I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. Yep, that's stupid. Also, that headquarters in Amsterdam, you know what happened there? Nothing. They canned it. It's not happening. Which, that decision should have, you know, been made before they started it. Going to Amsterdam was a dumb idea. I don't understand that. Of course, there are more and more failings of Bungie leadership over the course of history. I want to talk specifically about Pete Parsons at this moment. I know everyone wants me to talk about the cars. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about the cars. Let's get started with Pete Parsons' net worth. It's actually pretty hard to find compared to a lot of other CEOs, like, legitimately. He also, like, protected his Twitter and turned off his fucking LinkedIn, which is weird. But from what I could find, I saw 700,000, which I don't think that's right. I think maybe in 2019, as soon as they split from Activision, maybe. They're saying that's 2022. I don't think that's true. I've also seen the 1.3 million number flying around. I am more inclined to believe that. So, which is a weird assumption to make, that $1.3 million for Pete Parsons' net worth in 2022. But, like, if that's true, either of those numbers, it gets fucking goofy when you think about the fact that since the Sony deal, he has spent, like, $2.4 million on vintage cars on the site Bring a Trailer, which is a vintage car auction site, and it's solely on that site. There may be others he was using, I don't know. All I know is the Bring a Trailer site. So yeah, just like, not even great financial advice, but just, I'm not giving financial advice, I'm just saying, rule of thumb, you should not purchase something if it is 10% or more of your net worth. Like, you shouldn't have that liquidity to buy that, you know, especially if you are a millionaire. But over the course of, what, 2 years, he spent almost approaching $3 million on vintage cars, which he's going to need somewhere to put those, so he's going to need a large garage. He's going to need, I've seen pictures of the garage. He's going to need to be able to stack the cars. You know, it's a whole massive ordeal for his massive car collection. So the assumption that his net worth is, you know, under $2 million is ridiculous. In fact, I'm willing to bet, unless he's just terrible with money, which he has shown himself to be, he's, you know, probably in the 20s, 30s, 40s, probably higher, maybe approaching 100 million in net worth at minimum. But yeah, he's a millionaire playing billionaire, and it's just goofy. He is either comically stupid or comically evil. I don't get it. He is treating Bungie like a fucking cum sock. He is pumping and dumping the company. He got independence from Activision to then turn around, spend a ton of money to make it look like Bungie is bigger than they are, to attract Sony for billions of dollars. He got a massive payday out of that, I am sure of it, just so he could buy some cars. And now he's probably going to get ousted by Sony, and Bungie has claimed, P. Parsons has said, that they're integrating more with Sony. So Sony's vice grip is tightening over Bungie. They're losing their independence. P. Parsons is probably going to get ousted, probably going to get a golden parachute to get more cars with, you know. Oh, I need to expand my collection. I must fire hundreds of more employees now. Fuck you, Pete. Fucking Skete Parsons, goddammit. But yeah, the things that we at least think we know, there's always a chance that we don't know anything and this is wrong. But from the looks of it, of course, it comes from the top. The top spent money they didn't have, and then, you know, they sold to Sony, and they haven't been able to display that money while the CEO goes on a massive shopping spree of vintage cars. Personally, I am not accusing of anything here, but if I was Sony, I am hiring a third-party investigator to look into what happened to my billions of dollars I spent on this company, and I am investigating the CEO, because how do you lose that much money? You know? But he goes on the big spending spree, whatever. The company needs help, you know. The product is dying, you know. Instead of doing the things required to save it, he tells them actively to not do that. The chips are down, they come back, big comeback story, the final shape. Critically acclaimed, massively financially successful. So what do? They canceled the next Destiny game, spin-off, next installment, whatever it is. That's canceled. They have to give their other things they're working on over to Sony to work on. They're canceling all expansion plans and moving over to doing probably fucking the $15 DLCs from year one of D1 and D2, which were flops and people hated those, but whatever, you know. Yeah, Pete Parsons ran the company into the ground, and he's probably going to get rewarded for it. All the executives fucked up. Like, if I'm Sony, I am marching over to fucking Bellevue, Washington, and I am getting the fucking best detectives I can get. I'm getting fucking Sherlock Holmes. I'm getting Batman. I'm getting fucking Tech Knight in there. We're going to figure out where that money went, because obviously it wasn't going towards development of these titles to, you know, generate more profit. What was it doing? Anyways, I'm not a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, so maybe I just don't understand how the world works, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And that's it for this video. I don't have ads on because I don't want you guys to be subjected to those in a video about me complaining about Bungie and their fucking terribleness. Anyways, yeah, see ya.